While your story may be deeply rooted in your mind and maybe even in your heart, planning allows you to dig a little deeper. Take a look at the big picture or even help you not leave out any important details. Furthermore, the planning process helps you create a structure of your course. So let's begin planning. To create an effective plan, it's important that you have a clear understanding of what should be included in the plan. Furthermore, you must understand what is a digital story. A digital story is an expressive medium used to inform, educate, inspire, and communicate information to an audience. It may include photography, graphic images, text, quotes, videos, animation, sound effects, music, and narrative audio and videos. Now that we have defined a digital story, let's discuss the elements of a digital story. A good digital story should have the following 7 elements. Your digital story should be created with an audience in mind. The story should have a purpose, which can be to accomplish a task, whether it's to inform, educate, or even entertain. Keep in mind that the digital content enhances your story. Therefore, the content should be meaningful. You also want to make sure that you use a clear voice to tell the story from a perspective and uses the teller's voice to enrich the story. The use of technology can also enhance as well as expand the reach of the story with its ability to share on multiple platforms. Also keep in mind that a good story will connect with the participants. And finally, the story must use good economy to tell enough information to get to the point. However, don't go overboard or tell too much. Some tips for digital storytelling according to Digital Writing 101 online include: first, be sure to have a point of view. Telling your digital story from one perspective can help you decide which content to include and which to leave out. In order to determine your story's point of view, you must ask yourself what your story's message is, why it's important to tell it, and who your audience will be. Second, your story should answer a dramatic question. When a dramatic question is posed by the narrator at the beginning of the story, it creates tension and tends to draw in the audience. Keep in mind that the dramatic question isn't usually an actual question posed by the narrator. Rather, an intriguing statement that causes the viewer to ask themselves a question. Third, you want to include emotional content. This includes a loss, redemption, crisis, or change. This emotional content is key to keeping your audience engaged and interested. It is your way of relating to your audience and making it universal. Fourth, you want to use your voice. Try using a narrator to help you give your digital story direction and personality, as well as making it more powerful than using text only. Fifth is to add soundtrack music whenever possible or appropriate. By adding music, you can help establish the mood and complement your overall message. It is important to choose carefully. The wrong music can actually undermine your story. Generally, the safest choice is instrumental music. Sixth, it is essential to use good economy. Keep it short. Keep your script brief, between 250 to 350 words. This will also help you determine the content to include. But keep in mind, it also depends on the type of story or digital story you're telling. And finally, the 7th tip is to be sure to use an effective pace. Great use of pace will hold your audience attention. You want to strive for a happy medium, thus varying the amount of time that images stay on the screen and using effective effects such as panning and zoom when appropriate. Now that you have a better understanding of the elements of a digital story and how to apply them, let's talk about the type of digital story you might create. Digital stories have become popular in online education as educators explore teaching methods designed to enhance the learning experience by increasing student engagement. Not only is a digital story a great engagement tool for education, but it's also great for business, organizations, and personal communications. While the focus of this course is to create a digital story with Adobe Spark Page, there are many other methods or software that can be used. Adobe Spark Page is a dynamic tool that will allow you to create your digital story using your desktop, phone, or iPad, using the web-based or mobile applications. When creating your digital story with Adobe Spark Page, consider these types of stories: a lecture to teach a topic or concept, a newsletter to share information with a group or organization, a professional portfolio to demonstrate your work, a blog to share a topic, your thoughts, or ideas with others, a journal to express your thoughts through a personal experience, trip, or event, a presentation for work, school, or an organization, whether in person or online, or a website for personal, small groups, small businesses, or small organizations. Before you will begin to create your story, decide what type of digital story you want to create and write down an outline or ideas to help you guide your design process. Creating an outline is a key part of this process. Whether it is an extremely detailed script or a simple bulleted outline, it will help you build a structure for your story. Keep in mind that this story is a visual representation of your thoughts, ideas, and information. Therefore, you want to make sure that you use more visual imagery and less text as possible. Once you have created a rough outline, you will need to gather your material. If you do not have images to add to your story, Adobe Spark provides access to free images that can be used. You can also add content later if you are not sure what you want to use, or you may have to wait to gain access because you're receiving those materials for someone else. So before we move on to the creating of your story, I suggest you take a moment to plan your story. Then once you are satisfied with your outline and have an idea of the media you want to use, then we can continue on to the next step.